Hey, yo. Not really feeling it today. Not really feeling it today, but maybe if I keep playing, I will start to feel it. I will start to feel it. I like the sound of notes whenever I have a little thing. I don't have any notes on paper today. This is actually like a bag of Mexican chips I got from takeout. I'm gonna eat one right now. Oh god. That's not as good as I was hoping to be. Not too bad though. Not too bad. I like that rallying sound though. Okay. In case you couldn't tell, today we're going to be seeing some bird ass. That's what we're going to be doing. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you know it. But this is the painted world of Ariamis that we're going to be doing today. And if you don't recognize... Oh god, yes, I forgot about you. Fuck yeah, I want that in my house, that big ass statue. Anyways, this is the sort of temple of Guinevere that we were in a while back. And you might notice all the little corpses of painted guardians over the place. They did not protect the painting too well. They were supposed to be protecting this. Why? Who can say? Actually, I can say. Hold on. For God's sakes. I'm not going to edit any of this out. There's like 2 feet of snow outside right now. I do not give a shit. I do not give two shits. Okay. But they were here protecting this. Because this is where all the stuff that the gods are afraid of is stored. Like Gwen and Guinevere and Gwendolyn and probably some other guys like the Smith. What's that guy's name? The dumbass old man McLoy. Oh yeah, the god of medicine and drink. Him too. The god of medicine and drink was so terrified of certain things that they all just kind of got together and like, let's put it all inside of a painting, which is pretty weird, but whatever. I wonder if this painting was here before the DLC came out. I don't know that because I didn't play then at the time. Anyways, this enough of that. Let's get right up in here because I get some bird booty I want to be taking a look at today. I like that armor, by the way. I like this setup. It's an awfully big painting. Almost makes me want to touch its beautiful surface. Oh no! This is just like that episode at the strip club. Only far less pleasant. Wow. Where's like that little entry noise that it makes? Okay, but this is the painted world of Ariamis. Ooh. Lighting it's kind of weird here. Anyways. Supposedly this is an entirely painted world. We never learn exactly who Ariamis is, but we can assume that it was probably whoever painted it. And I've never actually dropped off this, but I assume that this is death. So I'm not going to drop off that just yet. I will point out that, let's see, it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure this is true. But there's a bonfire that we're going to be coming up here in a bit. It seems like if you die here and you don't use that, then I think you go back to the last bonfire that you used outside. But if you do sit down at it, then you cannot leave this world until you have completed the area, I think. Or you might reappear here. It has been a while. It's been a while. I don't care. Who cares? Go away, Gmail notification. Go away. Anyways, there's really nothing to merit a discussion out here. Just, there's a fuck ton of trees. Actually, this looks pretty much exactly like it looks outside right now. Just minus the gigantic cliffs that lead into an abyssal world of nothingness. Is that a stream or is that just... Oh, I'm giving them too much credit again. It's probably just nothing. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Okay, but off we go. To bird ass ahoy, yeah. Fucking love that bird ass. And here's our first hint that maybe something here is bad. Or maybe really good. Who knows? Maybe they like this. Maybe this is just what they're into down here. It is kind of a, you know, really this is, actually this, I don't know, it could be a relic of, I'll go ahead and tell you, the Painted World of Ariamis. This used to be the original testing grounds for Dark Souls before it was released. This was the very first area that they ever worked on. And it was just not in the initial release because it was a test bed area. So maybe this is a relic from those days, or maybe it's something that they added in later. But if we're going to assume that it's part of the lore, then these guys do look like they are hollows. Which is kind of weird because, again, they shouldn't be dead, but don't worry about it. They're, you know, whatever. But But they are impaled on spikes at... What the fuck is this? It's like little bitty ring things down here. Like they're made... It's made for being gripped or something. I don't know. Who the fuck cares? It's probably just the guy modeling it. It was just like, whatever, I don't give a shit. Fucking... And this is the way that they all are down there. There's actually more than... Oh, okay, they're pronged, I see. Huh, I'd never really noticed that before. But these do seem to be pronged sort of spears that are sticking up out of the ground. And they are impaled 1, 2, 3. Easier than 1, 2, 3. No, that's not how that... fuck it. Fuck it. Anyways. But yes, this is bad. This is bad news. This is bad touchdown. Or very good touchdown, depending on exactly what your preference is. Hello, bird. I've never tried to kill you before. Let's attempt to murder you. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah. Oh, I guess I should point out. This is your first hint that this might be an area that's going to be associated with Velka. And, we're going to be seeing a shitload of Velka references while we are in here. But this is the first hint. And he cannot die. Come on, man. That ain't cool. Why won't you let me kill you? That ain't cool at all. Oh, well. But this is an immortal raven of Velka. And this place is going to be populated with a shitload of hollows. As we're going to see right away. Hello, buddy. Come over here. Oh, yeah. Give me those sweet kisses. Sweet, sweet kisses. 360 souls of sweet, sweet kisses. This spear is probably going to take pretty short work of all these guys. What do you got to drop for me? This better not be shit. It's shit. I'm going to have to do some more inventory cleaning once I get out of this area. Not much to talk about in regards to this area. Broken barrels everywhere, and a door that we cannot enter just yet. Does not open from this side. You know, I appreciate that. Because this does appear to be a garrison. This is an area that was sealed up. And that's the ongoing thing. What is it? What the fuck is this? Why would this even be here? Is this like just a waiting bench? Come down here, sit down. Oh, I wish to let me inside. I really want some bird ass. But they wouldn't let him inside. There should be a corpse right there just sitting with a soul. You pick it up and it's just like a weapon that has a lore significance of like, he waited for all eternity for the taste of bird ass that would never come. Anyways, for people that have never been here, this probably makes no sense what the hell I'm talking about. You can't go up here and cut that off normally, but you can also just fucking shoot the damn thing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. It makes no sense at all, but whatever. Anyways, there's nothing special from this. I think it's just a soul or something. It's just a humanity, whatever. Blood on the walls, or maybe a very painful menstruation cycle. I'm sorry, that was... No, this is not even clever. Menstruation jokes aren't even clever. What the hell's wrong with me? But we can see up here already. That's what I want. You can't see it quite just yet, but that is going to be the best taste of... No, I'm not even going to... No. I'll just let you have the full experience yourselves. Now, we go into the painted world of Arios proper. I never actually lit that, so I'm going... If I die, I will see what happens. And that's the reason why I avoided lighting that bonfire. Hello, sweetie. I fucking hate these guys. Just... it's so irritating. Come on. Okay. And I'll try to show you... Yeah, there's another guy right there. What exactly they want, I don't know. Maybe they just... They detect the sweet scent of souls on my body, and they just ache. They yearn for it. I yearn for a lot of things. But souls aren't one of them, you know? And here we are. Here's what... Oh, jeez. You guys are just lovely. Lovely. Now, what exactly is up with these guys? I am not exactly certain. They're blighted with something, but I don't know what it is. If you have a fire weapon, and yes, this is from many parts ago, but if you have a fire weapon, then you can't attack these guys without that happening. If you're right next to it whenever all that beautiful juice just starts spurting out of them in every direction, then if it's a fire weapon, then that will not happen. That will not happen. These throwing knives, by the way, this is not Dark Souls 2. These throwing knives are pretty much worthless. This is one of the reasons why they changed that for 2. But they only do like 13 damage or something ridiculous. It's completely laughable, completely worthless. There we go. Binoculars. That's what I wanted. Okay. Let's get right up in there. Make sure it's not over there. Look at that beautiful face. This is a face that's meant for kissing. But not today. Not today. They're swollen up with something. I'm not really sure what exactly it is. But whatever it is, he got it fucking bad, don't you think? His head is swollen up with something. I don't know. I can't really make much sense of this. But if you are next to them whenever you pop them, then you become toxic. Which is not a good day. That's not a good day. Come over here, sweetie. No, pay attention. Pay attention. You have guests. Psst. It's all over the place. Kind of looks like a big skin testicle. Oh, Lord. Why did I even say that? It kind of made me hurt a little bit just mentioning that. Oh, well, what is done is done. Like a... Look at those veins just running in and out. Oh, Lord. No, no. I gotta get away from this thing. Gotta get away from this thing. Okay, we're gonna go up top and we're gonna get our first taste. Our first taste. Our first taste. Yeah. No, no. I actually... I brought the spear primarily so that I could avoid taking hits like that. It's pretty easy to negate most things, but I'm not really paying too much attention right now because I'm kind of in one of my moods right now. But anyways, in regards to this area, there's really, again, there's nothing much to say about it. Because this is a test bed area, there's not going to be a lot of heavy lore significance in regards to anything in particular. I will point out, though, that there's a bunch of fallen bricks covered in snow, and they fell from nothing, really. That's a pretty big chunk of a building. The top of a building that's just fucking missing. And that's all that's left of it? Just this down here? So maybe at some point it broke off, and then someone was around to clean it up. Who knows? Who knows? But this is a painting. So did they paint it, like, really well at first? And the fact that it has fallen apart over time, is that an indication that the painting needs to be repainted? Or does everything in here actually naturally age? Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? That's incredibly overanalyzing. Probably the actual reason is that they just had this thing modeled since it was a testing bed area, and they didn't really give a shit about it whenever they decided to use this as a DLC area. You can actually hit these guys much further out than I'm actually attacking. I should be attacking way earlier since I have such a long spear. Long spear, phallic reference. But this is what I want. That's what I want right there. Oh yeah, to get a good look. No. It's binoculars. Use binoculars. Get right up in there. Yeah. Ain't wearing no pants. No pants to be worn in the painted world of Ariamis. Another immortal raven. What the hell is with you guys? How about these guys actually usually fly off if you get near them. Anyways. But that thing's gonna swoop down, and if I'm lucky, it'll ride around on my shoulders, and I'll have myself a grand old adventure. Grand old adventure. Anyways, let's get over here, and they don't actually pop out and attack you until you come over to this little section right here. And I can't remember if you actually have to pick up the item or not. Come on, are you gonna do it? You gonna do it? That is sneaky of them. That is fucking sneaky of them. Wow. And no? Still no? Do I have to walk forward a little bit? Walk forward a little bit? There we go, yeah. I'll try to clear one of them. Man, they have a lot of health, don't they? Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I was actually kind of disappointed I didn't get hit by that. Now, I'm going to encounter quite a few more of these guys. Let's see if I can... Oh, come on, you missed? Really? Come on, try it again. Try it again. Come on. No, don't... Not the overhead swings. That is of no merit. That doesn't help me at all. Now, come on, sweetie. You got no pants. We're both ready. Oh, yeah. Oh, no! She got me! Oh, no! I'm gonna die. What a way to go. Yeah. Look at that ass! Look at that! That's amazing. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be intentionally killing myself. I mean, you do... Okay. You do go back to the very beginning. So, that was pretty much fruitless in every respect. But they do not wear any pants. And, I'm sure that for those of you that have only played 2, you will immediately recognize that model as being Ornifex, which in Dark Souls 2 they just reuse the model from this game just because. I would not attempt to make any sense out of the fact that she is there. You know, you could try to say, oh, it's because of Valka, but it doesn't make any sense. Just they included it just because they wanted to. Because hey, if you have a model of a gigantic-assed bird woman that just flies on top of your shoulders and gives you a good old time, then you would want to reuse it. You would want to reuse it. That's what I say anyways. Okay, anyways. Get out of here, you. Damn fucking arrows. Ranged attacks in any game are always a nuisance. Since you don't actually have to really confront the person that you're firing at. They're always really... This is really a tangent, but they're really kind of difficult to balance correctly. Anyways. I don't actually have to go back up there, except to... Oh, there it goes. I was actually a little bit too close for that one. Now, I can go ahead... I guess I can. What was it that clears toxic? The flowering... Good lord. Blooming purple. Okay. I'm not going to bother equipping. If it happens, it happens. I have 20 Estus flasks. You know, it doesn't really matter. Okay, but there are a few things that I have on notes that I probably should be going over, instead of talking about bird asses this entire time. First, Lautrec uses Hush or the Slumbering Dragon Crest ring, since it doesn't go away. I mean, they can just make it, they can cheat and just make it last forever, but I assume that it's the ring. Because I really don't think that they're probably too lazy to actually script in a perpetual buff like that. So I imagine they just use the ring. Yeah, he does. And what does that mean? It just means that he's a creep. And that's pretty much it. He's just a creepy guy. Now you guys gonna come back? You're gonna... Oh, yeah. Now I'm not gonna... I'll try not to die a second time. Or will I? Okay, I'll avoid it this time. Even though it delights me to be hit with that attack, I will pass for the time being. And she did drop something for me. It appears that our efforts together in my last life have brought to fruition some sort of... I'm making like a pregnancy joke here, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. But I got a souvenir reprise. And remember from the prior episode... Or the episode... No, the episode before that one. Or actually maybe 2 episodes before that. I can't remember. But this is the Covenant... One of the Covenant reward items. Not the reward items, but the thing that you give to Gwendolyn to further the Covenants of the Darkmoon Blades. And normally you would get these via the actual invasions, but the invasion system doesn't really work all that great. It doesn't work all that great. So you might just have to come here and have adventures with these bird ladies. And just farm them that way. Sorry, what were we talking about? I'm sorry. Anyways, let's see. Actually, where the fuck is that? Where? Oh, it's down there on the floor. Hold on. Enjoy the scenery. Ah, yeah. I'm glad I had these binoculars. This playthrough just keeps getting better. But someone had been asking me what the book that I was reading, I was referring to in one of the parts. I can't remember what part it was. But the name of the book is The Book of the Sword. A History of Daggers, Sabers, and Scimitars. You can find this pretty easily on Amazon, I guess. From Ancient Times to Modern Day by Richard Francis Burton. Almost Richard Francis Bacon. It's one of my favorite... Francis Bacon's one of my favorite painters. Not the mathematician, but the actual painter from the 20th century. But that's the name of the book. Farewell, my lovelies. Actually, just one last look. Just for me. God, look at that. Amazing. I love it. Fucking love it. I'm not sexist or anything, but I totally am for the bird women. Because goddamn. Anyways, he on patrol down there. We'll have to deal with him later. But let's see. There is one little thing that you need to jump down here. The first time I was in this area, I tried desperately to jump over to this area. This is a dried finger. We'll get to that in a second. And I tried desperately to jump over to this area from here. It cannot be done. I kind of just got into that mindset of, I've got to know. You know, just because. Like, I knew good and well that there was no way that I was going to make it. But I wanted to see if I could at least glitch my way onto it. Which I think you can sort of... Yeah, you kind of just bounce away. It looks like it. Anyways, I eventually admitted, yeah, I'll have to just go up. And I found the stairs, and I went up and got it. Anyways. Dried fingers. Dried fingers. This is there's a lot of PvP items in this area. Imagine the reason why that they're actually here, the PvP items, is because as a DLC, they decided, you know what, this is actually proving to be a pretty popular thing for PvP. And that's increasing the longevity of our game, so they decided to add a bunch of things. So, the reason why that they're all here is just in terms of gameplay. But if you wanted to read into it, I guess you could say that this is a place of great contention. So maybe the reason why that they are all here is because of some sort of association with warfare or something. Whatever, I'm just making up shit. Dried finger. A dried finger with multiple knuckles. Shriveled, but still slightly warm. A lot of uses for this. With this many knuckles, surely it cannot belong to anything human. So, this is, I guess, the implication is that it belongs to one of the bird ladies that we just got through playing with upstairs. And here we have some lovely white rats. Actually kind of pretty in a way. Aside from the fact that they are obviously grotesque little creatures. You can farm these guys for humanity, if you really want to. But other than that, there's nothing really special going on with him. That was from a corpse, by the way. That wasn't from them. Yeah. See? There he is. And it's all of his loincloth glory. Oh, Lord. That one Mexican chip I had is coming back. That water tastes terrible. I really need to refrigerate this shit before I get it. But I always forget and always end up just rushing over and filling it up right before I start recording. Anyways. There's one more thing in my notes that I need to go over. And I guess I can start now. Because there's really not a lot to actually say about this area. Other than it's just rife with assholes. And that's pretty much it. And I want to make sure that I don't roll. Because that is death down there. You want to avoid that. Hey, sweetie. He's jogging his way over here. A very light jog, too. Because, I gotta deal with this shit again. But these little guys are all over the place. Again, what exactly they are, I have no idea. They're obviously infected with something. What it is, I have no idea. They don't drop anything that really suggests what that could be. They just sort of are. And I mean, the only other thing that really causes toxic is like doo-doo. So maybe their heads are just swollen up with poop. Maybe they're just shitheads. Maybe that's what it is. I have no idea. I'll look into it later. Look at that shadow. That hollow down there is just loving it. He's doing like an artistic... There's a fucking Dadaist zombie down here. Where the hell are you? I don't gonna have any performance arts down in my playthrough. Where the hell are you? Where is that thing? He must be on the other side of the wall and it's actually rendering incorrectly or something. I'm actually kind of impressed. Oh, you dumb table. Come on. No, come on. Okay. God's sakes. Neat little wenches. Anyways, in the prior part, I actually asked you what you thought that the Dark Soul and the Light Soul represent. And this, you can't quite get it just yet. You just kind of have a... Oh, come on, really? It makes a chain-breaking noise, but it's obviously not a chain. It's obviously not a rope either. Oh, for God's sakes. Get out of here. Really? I can't really get away from him either. Can I shove him? No? Oh well, guess I'm just gonna be toxic. Oh, it didn't... That was weird. I didn't get toxic from that. Huh. Never had that happen. Oh well, I guess I'll actually... I hate... For some reason, I really detest using Estus flasks. So I avoided... I avoid it, religiously, almost. I guess I'm just kind of a min-maxer, or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, in regards to that, I asked you what you thought that the life soul, or not the life soul, the light soul and the dark soul actually represent. Because the life soul and the death soul are pretty obvious. We know exactly what those are because they're just the life and death soul. And you guys had a lot of theories. And let's go ahead and stop for a second. This is kind of a hard jump to make in some respects. Actually, let me... Is it here? Yeah, okay. It's been a while since I've jumped from here. And I always miss this at least once. Okay. What not? Anyways, I asked you guys what exactly you thought about that. You had a lot of theories. Some of them were kind of dumb. Some of them were kind of okay. Some of them were kind of the same thing that I do, were trying a bit too hard to read into it a bit too much. It's kind of weird that an egg vermifuge would be here. Huh. Let me think about that for a second. Actually, hold on. I'll cap off that for a second. But you guys did have some good ideas in regards to that. And I'll talk a bit more in a second about what exactly I think the light and dark souls happen to represent. But I commend you for actually having a discussion about it in the comments below. Usually you guys just make sex jokes and then that's the end of it. And given the nature of this particular playthrough, I guess I don't particularly blame you. But I commend you all the same. Now, egg vermifuge, it's really quite unusual that this would be down here. Because as you remember, egg vermifuge is what you use to get rid of the parasitic egg that you get whenever you are infected down in Lost Islith. Better sour chest and roots parasitic. So it's really weird that this is here. Have chosen to serve the flame of chaos. Huh. Wonder why this is down here. 'Cause think about this for a second. You wouldn't need this for anything. You can't be infected with a parasitic egg in the painted world of Ariamis. But those guys that are wandering around with the weird infected doo-doo heads obviously are sort of reminiscent of they are sort of reminiscent of the egg bearers that are down next to the Fair Lady. So maybe there is some sort of association. So maybe it is that this is implying that there are things here from Islith. Or, since these seem to have been grown possibly by Ulasil, as I went into detail in a prior episode, maybe it's suggesting there's some sort of link with the Ulasil, or maybe I'm just reading into it too much. But either way, it's really bizarre that this would be down here. Wonder why. But these chestnuts are forbidden. My chestnuts aren't forbidden, that's for sure. But anyway, that's that. I don't know. I'll have to make sense of that later. This is a path back up, but you can actually just go right back down. Just for the hell of it. Come on. Up, down. But in regards to the light and dark soul, I will point out that the life and death soul, just, they're kind of obvious that they're life and death. That's one of the aspects of life. And think about this. What more is there to life than just living or dying? As I drop one humanity. What the hell? Oh, where'd you come from? I didn't even notice you. You kind of just materialized as I looked over at my other monitor. That was weird. Huh, where did he come from? Was he up here? I don't know. Maybe he was over here and he came through. I can't remember if there was a guy down here or not. Anyways. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick this up. This is the Painted Guardian set. Yeah, Painted Guardian set. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. I think I've already actually read all their stuff off. Painted Guardian sets. Painted Guardian sets. Everything is always so hard to find in this damn game. Head worn by the alabaster clothes guardians of the paintings, again it does that, paintings of Anne Orlando. In Anne Orlando. I wonder if all the paintings are linked. Because it keeps suggesting paintings, but there's obviously only one painting of Ariamis. But it seems to suggest that the paintings in Anne Orlando. So maybe all the paintings that exist here are sort of magically intertwined and you can move between them or something. I don't know. Maybe there used to be an idea for more than one of them and they just left it in. Or maybe, because Japanese sometimes has words that don't necessarily have plurals. But they kind of can insinuate either or. And that can kind of fuck up some translations to English sometimes whenever translators take it upon themselves to make things plural whenever they don't need to be. So maybe it is that one of the guys decided it doesn't make sense that there would be one painting in Anne Orlando, and he just put an S on the end of it, and it was actually a mistake. So maybe it's supposed to say the Guardians of the painting in Anor Londo. That's my best guess. Anyways, substantial protection versus magic. Which is kind of unusual because it does suggest some sort of a... It suggests that they are opposed to either Seath, who is associated with magic, or the Witches of Izalith, who used to be associated with magic, but are now, in the context of this game, associated more with pyromancy. So, in the context of this game, I imagine, if it was trying to imply anything, that would imply that the Painted Guardians are actually opposed to Seath, and that they are kind of concerned about him fucking around with the painting in some way. Maybe. And considering that so many people suggest that Seath is associated with Priscilla, which we'll see in a bit, then I guess that would sort of make sense on its own. They have guarded the great paintings, again, the paintings of Amias for ages, passing their duty down through the generations, but the reason for doing so passed from all memory long ago. So another interesting thing about this is that they are passing the duty down through the generations. So the guys that we keep killing might not actually be hollow, or maybe they are, but they are the very last generation. And they went hollow in the process or something. Like, right before they abandoned Anor Londo, the gods abandoned Anor Londo, then these guys were the humans that were serving down there, and they just so happened to turn. So these guys most likely are not gods. They are probably humans in their own rights. If I had to guess, which I am guessing. And nothing new, guys. Okay, nothing new there. Okay, let's see if I can actually get this final thought out. And there's nothing down here. You can fall down this area. You take quite a bit of damage doing so, and I think that there might be a chest up there. So I might have to actually fall down here regardless. Anyways. If I can finally get this thought out, the life and death soul. And the life and death soul I've already gone over. As far as the light soul and the dark soul, the fact that it's called the light soul is why I keep saying life, because they're so close together in English, and it kind of is fucking me up. But in regards to what exactly they are, and we'll get that in a second if you're noticing that, we have to go all the way around. The way that I interpret it is, what more is there to life except for life and death? Like, animals live or die, humans live or die, but what is the distinction between the two of those creatures? Like, what separates us from just mere beasts? And that, to me, is the light and dark soul. And we know that the light soul is associated with Anor Londo and the gods and whatnot. And what exactly is this game about? It is about the fading glory of Anor Londo, the fading glory of the gods, the fading glory of the Age of Fire. You know, fire being associated with advancement and culture and industry and things like that. And love watching them fall. And where is that thing? I could have swore that there was a chest down there, but maybe there isn't. I know that there is an item down here, off to the side. But I don't know about that chest. I'll have to go drop down either way. I don't think this is... Yeah, this is another soul. It's kind of unusual that they keep... By the way, I think... Did I hear it? Listen. Oh, don't listen for that, for God's sake, you little fucks. Every single day with you assholes. I don't care. I'm just gonna fucking take it. Oh, come on. Really? But anyway, I was trying to point out that... No, come on. I was trying to point out that... And he fires so damn fast. What an asshole. Little cheating asshole. Firing so quickly that it's impossible to actually hit him with ranged attacks anyways. Little spammer. Anyways, listen. Hear that sort of... Whoo. Not who. I can't do the noise. But it's almost sort of a soft, sexual, bird-like purring that if you are used to playing Dark Souls 2, you'll be used to, because Ornisex says that all the time. She always makes that noise. I'm being very sexist towards these birds today. But those are the birds. It is kind of unusual that they actually have their own little noise like that. It's a pretty cute noise. I just wanted to point it out. You probably can't actually hear it, because I have to lower the audio on these renders, so you probably won't be able to actually hear it. But it is a adorable noise. I love it. It's amazing. Anyways, I lost my train of thought again with this discussion. But all of this, the light soul is associated with the glory and Anor Londo and all this sense. And the whole idea is that it is fading. And it is fading, and the dark soul is growing in power as the light soul fades, because they are linked. Like, the less light that you have, the more dark that there is in the world. And, dark always exists, but light can fade. It's sort of that thing. But whenever light increases, then the dark sort of, has less power. It retracts. And, that's sort of the theme with this game. The choice between those two. The light soul or the dark soul. And, humans, of course, have the dark soul and so on. Now, if the light soul is things like glory and heroics and majestic sort of falsehoods like that, if you look at it from a literature perspective, like, human beings are so great, we have heroes, we have legends, and, you know, that sort of a thing in regards to literature. That is true, but we also have a lot of stories in regards to... Man, that bird's going crazy. See its shadow briefly. It's probably hopping down here to go peck me in the butt. I can't wait. But we also have a lot of things like... I'm thinking of... what was the name of the movie? Flags of Our Fathers? Or maybe it was... no, it was the companion film that I can't remember. Heroes of Iwo Jima, was that it? But I'm thinking of that. In which the story is about the fact that the people that we name as heroes and legends and things are not really heroes and legends, especially to themselves. They're just ordinary people that did something, and we create like, as a culture, human beings create heroes of their own accord. We need them for ourselves, and I'm not going to do him just yet. I'll probably go up here first. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. But we create heroes of our own accord. And so that's sort of where this association with heroics and glory and things being associated with falsehood comes from. And by the way, the bird ladies are going to be leaping down on top of me. Yes. And as a result, you can get yourself knocked off the edge pretty quickly. They have sort of a Naruto run about them, don't they? Kind of lower... It's ridiculous. That is not a real thing, kids. You don't run faster by not using your arms. That's idiotic. What are you doing? It is appropriate for them because they are birds, so it kind of just looks like they're trying to take off and fly. One interesting thing about these girls is that they can actually fly. Like if you knock them off the edge, kick them off or whatever. Oh, she actually found her way up. Good for her. I might as well just go back across and take care of her while I'm thinking about it. Where the hell's the door? I can't remember. Down here. Okay. But if you knock them off, they will just fall off and die. There you go. Yeah. Hey, baby. You already took damage. She must have fallen off of her own accord. Look at that ass. All right, I'll stop. But that is one of the sort of the narrative devices people use. The other half is that often within literature, there is a great amount of focus on sort of the darker component to humanity, but the more beautiful component to humanity. I'll get that to a second. Take a little bit of hit. No. There we go. Drop something for me, baby. Nope. Not gonna do it. Fuck you. Get out of here. But I appreciate the fact that you don't wear any pants. Really has livened up my day. Really has. Okay. But if the light soul is in there, all these birds up here, watch them fly away whenever I get near them, because they don't want me to murder them, even though they're immortal, apparently. So long, Betty. What about the rest of you? What if I can sneak up on them? No? It isn't... I do find it kind of interesting that they all have their own individual detection areas. Like, they don't just fly off as a group. Which probably would have been a lot easier, just to create, like, a single... trigger zone, like right here, and as soon as you enter it, just script all of them to fly away. So they have their own individual sort of behavioral scripting, which is kind of weird. Anyways, in regards to the Dark Soul, now think about all these sort of undercurrents of humanity and the undertones and things. that are often associated with literature. Like the evil that men do in order to advance themselves, and like, say, that the movie I was talking about. In that one, the characters kind of go into their own sort of dark descent, even though they're the heroes of America in this case. They also sort of despise themselves and hate that thing about them, and they, like, one of them becomes an alcoholic and ends up just dying in like a ditch. Like, I think actually they find him in a pig pen or something. But I think this actually is based in history, of course. And I think that he was actually found on the side of the road. I can't remember. I could be inventing something or thinking of another thing. But anyways, the whole point is that the light soul seems to be associated with that component to human nature, the glory of humanity. Whereas the dark soul seems to be associated with the inverse of that, which is sort of the acceptance of our base nature. Not being primitive, not reducing ourselves into being mere animals. Nothing like that. But it is the dark undercurrent to humanity. The thing that is more associated with the truth of things. Whereas the light soul is more associated with lies and things being beautiful, like obviously beautiful. The dark soul is more associated with things being beautiful in their truthfulness to your own nature. If I had to invent something of my own. And in regards to this game, there is no sort of Xbox controller. There is no sort of right and wrong about it. It is, again, sort of Eastern storytelling in that the light and dark soul are not really supposed to be literal objects that are related to things exactly. Like, the dark soul is related to physicality and things like that, so there is that component. But more the point is that you are supposed to read into it and try to find your own understanding of what exactly the ending is going to end up meaning. And to me, that's what this is about. It's about this sort of narrative device of a divide between obvious glory and an accepted glory of your own internal being. Like I'll say this. This is very important. This is actually, it should be a question that's going to, I'm not going, I shouldn't say that. That's a NDA thing I shouldn't be doing. But Miyazaki, this is one of the things I would love to ask Miyazaki, is, actually this is probably the only question I have for Miyazaki. But in all of his things, he seems to have this ongoing theme of beauty from loss or tragedy. Like, I told this story much earlier in the Valley of Drakes of that dragon design, and how originally the art guy had just made it a generic dragon that had, like, maggots and stuff writhing in out of him and things like that. And he told him, no, don't do that. You're ruining the whole idea behind this. Because the whole idea is that this used to be a very majestic being that now has decayed, and something of great value has now been lost. And there's supposed to be something sad and beautiful about that. And to me, that's sort of the nature of what the Dark Soul is supposed to represent. It's that idea. And Miyazaki in Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and now in Bloodborne, and not Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 2. That's the reason why Dark Souls 2 was kind of a failure, in my opinion, because it didn't understand any of this. Is that Miyazaki keeps writing these sort of beauty through tragedy stories. That things used to be, like this guy right here. This is another undead dragon. As we see his wing pop off there, as he stirs ever so slightly. And he gets kind of, oh, he actually does wake up down here. I thought it was only whenever you went and picked up the shield. I've never actually seen him from this angle. Huh. That's pretty cool. I always just run down and pick up the shield before I do anything else. Anyways, like this guy. As he sprays his juices all over the place. You can stand here to be protected from him. This is not really a fight, exactly. You can kill this guy. Can you poison him? I can't remember. I'll try to do that while we're sitting here talking. Oh, come on, come on. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I'll see if that... Wow, that does a lot of damage. Didn't really expect that. Anyways, like this guy. This guy is supposed to be beautiful in his own way. Now, not obviously beautiful. Not like Anne Orlando beautiful. he is supposed to be sort of this idea that there is a great sadness and beauty in the fact that he has been tragically lost. Like, all the things that he used to be, all the past glories and whatnot, are now gone. And we can't even really see it anymore. But we can see the remnants of it. We can see the fact that he once used to be quite magnificent. And Miyazaki seems to love this. And that's the reason why I really would like to ask him that question. Of whether he thinks that that component is very important in literature. And I think it is. Shakespeare also dealt a lot in that. Like the idea that human beings are sort of these dark creatures. Not necessarily evil, but we have this darkness inside of us. And that is a component to our own sort of beautiful glories and tragedies in life. And those end up being the most impressive stories in their own way. But anyways, just in regards to the light soul and the dark soul, and how Miyazaki writes and so on, that seems to be the undertone to all of this. Is whether or not you want to embrace obvious beauty and heroics and legends and things, or whether you are more willing to accept an age of embracing loss and tragedy as its own form of beauty. That's what I sort of read into it. Anyways, back to video game. In regards to this guy, kind of just go side to side. He'll attack whatever side that you're on. Just, you know, just attacking here, then walk up and attack him over here, and then he can fall back down over here. Attack him over here, and eventually he will die. And that should be it for him. Now, he was a dragon, so fuck him on one side. But on the other hand, he at least was a sort of... He tried. The design tried. He was beautiful in his own way, despite the fact that he was just a generic dragon. But he was a zombie dragon, so I'll give him props to that. So farewell, my friend. Even though I didn't agree with your life choices, you still had your own form of beauty in this world. Just like me. Blood Shield. Blood Shield. What do you got to say for me, Blood Shield? The Blood Shield's spoken of in the Lost Legends. The red of blood is slightly enchanted and boosts various resistances. Now, why exactly this is here, I don't know. This doesn't really seem to be a threat to the gods, I guess. But it does increase various resistances. Is one of the poison because... Huh, maybe it is associated with curse resistance or something. Or petrification, or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, this is it. Blood Shield. Looks pretty nice. I think the reason why this is actually here is because wearing this shield, even if you aren't using it, like, you can just put it on your back and you get the benefit from it. But it drastically lowers it raises your bleed resistance. And, the life hunt weapons that are in this area are, actually, I should probably just put on a, where is that? Grass Crush Shield. So if I'm not actually using the, did I just pass it? I'm not even thinking. It's right there. Just wear it on my back, and I'll just do it this way. But it's probably here because the life hunt weapons that we're going to be getting later on, cause bleed damage. Like, that's just the mechanic that this game uses to indicate that it is a life hunt weapon. And life hunt, I don't think, is actually supposed to be bleed exactly. I think it's supposed to be, as far as lore goes, its own thing, but we really don't get to, they're not going to make a mechanic for it. So I guess the reason why that Blood Shield is here is just because to support any sort of build that you will make, since life hunt weapons also cause bleed damage to yourself. This is his butt. This is his butt since we killed the front of him, and he seems to have ripped all of that off. I can't remember. It seems like you can knock this off, but it's been so long since I even thought about it. Can you damage it? It is kind of unusual. You can kill the front half, but you can't kill the butt. Can't kill the ass. That is the theme of this area, if I ever heard one. It seems like I know for a fact that you can knock this off, but I can't remember. Oh, well, it's going to irritate me not being able to knock this off, but there's really nothing there once you do. But I am pretty sure that you can get this thing off. Kick it off. Go on, yeah. Go on, boy. Not gonna work. No amount of redneck speech is going to work against this magnificent ass. Another beautiful component to that ancient dragon. Beautiful ass. Anyways, but I think that's the reason why that blood shield is there, and I think that is the reason why that the light soul and dark soul and so on work as they do. Now we're going to have a bit more of a problem. This is the more problematic section of the game that we're about to go into. Oh boy, this is going to be a problem. Okay, this is the door to the boss that we're going to have to open, but it's going to be a while before we can actually do that. Well, then we're going to go through here. Let's go ahead and heal just in case. I might as well. I have like a million of these fucking things. Into the white fog. And here we have what to me seems like a very obvious reference to Demon Souls, the Phalanx boss. By the way, that is one boss. It is not a... Like in the ads versus individual enemy debate, people always, oh no, Demon Souls, the Phalanx is like a million guys. No, it wasn't. You know good and well it was one individual thing. They all clumped together, and that was just sort of a... Like, as soon as you get rid of all the quote-unquote ads in that boss fight, then the boss fight is over. That's the boss. You're just fighting a shit ton of these little slow-moving idiots. Anyways. I want to point out that they are all guarding that statue, it seems like. They're all crowded around it in this very rigid pose. It's unusual that they're so rigid and fixed like that. So they apparently have been fixed that way for quite some time. But they are protecting this raven-clad statue that we can't quite see enough of just yet. But for the time being, we're going to ignore these guys and run over here and open this door. Because they're going to be quite angry at the fact that we are here. And I don't want to have to deal with them just yet. Ah, shit, I shouldn't have died. I'm probably not going to be able to get Xanthos to appear now. Or whatever his name is exactly. Anyways. Let's go back over here. And, I guess that's how I'll work it. I really don't have to do that, I guess. It's open. That's enough. That's enough. But, now that we've alerted them, they're all going to be very angry and alert and out and about. And you can see that they cause quite a bit of damage if you're not careful. And they're pretty weak. Oh, for fuck's sake. Get out of here. Asshole. Anyways. They are pretty weak to fire, it seems like. So really, actually, let's just go ahead and do that. That's the easiest way to do this. Man, they really don't like me. But they are very protective of that statue that we haven't gotten quite a good look up as of yet. And let's just go ahead and reverse my hollowing, because I do need to trigger an invasion here in a second. And this combustion's really not going to work for this. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And let's get a... How many... Yeah, I do have 2 firearms. That'll work. Yeah, that'll work fine. I could also do, like, a Great Chaos Fireball or something, I guess. It's not really important. Whoosh! Oh, really? That's one of the problems with the pyromancies in this game sometimes. Spells in general are kind of difficult to aim in some ways. I don't have a lot of respect for mages, but there are some components to make actually using them a little bit more difficult than not at all. Anyways, one of the easiest ways to get rid of these guys is to just chuck shit at them. Just run around and chuck shit at them. And it's still pretty dangerous, especially starting out. And the hit range on this fire orb is not very good. Yeah, so you really should be using something with a bit more range to it. There we go, that's what I wanted. Get out of here, Ravens. I love you in Teen Titans, but not here, not here. But as soon as you clear out all the, as soon as I clear out all the rest of these guys, we'll take a better look at things. And I'll probably actually, I might reset, nah, I guess it doesn't really matter. But you'll also notice as I run around being an idiot, you should also take notice, actually take a good look at these guys. You'll notice that they sort of look like they almost look like they are fused together people. But you notice that they only have one pair of arms, one pair of legs, and only one head. So to me it looks a bit more like they are just warped humans. Now why exactly they are warped, I don't know, but you can infer that it is related to the guys that we were seeing earlier, the poop heads. They also have these weird little spear things stuck in their back. And I will point out that the things that are stuck in their back are the same exact weapons that they are actually wielding. So that's unusual, too. So what exactly the story behind these guys is, I really don't know. They are warped and malformed, so you think they might be associated with the Witch of Izalith, and maybe they were also corrupted in some way by the Chaos Flame. Or maybe it is that they are just associated with something in regards to the occult. That maybe they got this way because of some sort of occult practices. Because again, anything associated with the occult is going to be related to God damn it. It's going to be related to like blood sacrifices and human sacrifices and things like that. So maybe they got the way that they are as a result of that. Like, hollows were being captured and experimented upon. And the reason that they are here now is because they've been dropped off, as we see here. Like, take these big things, for example. These are obviously... these are obviously just cages. That apparently that these hollow guys were at one point imprisoned in and then dropped off here. Now, why exactly they got here instead of, like, where we are, like where we were, the asylum... Why exactly that is, I don't know. But you'll notice that they have these big long chains, and they apparently were being carried by something quite powerful. So, these things don't seem to have been painted in here. They were actually physically dropped in here. So this is all really strange. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't really make any sense. It kind of looks like that they were physically... I don't think that they were dragged here. Maybe that they were dropped from the sky somehow. So how exactly they got here, I have no idea. Maybe something entered the painting and physically carried it with them. Or maybe it was, like, thrown into the painting, like it was laid down on the ground and it just dropped inside of it or something. Really strange. But it's fucking magic. It's fucking magic. More guys on spears. Hey, guys. How's it going, Velka? Harbinger of Velka. Lots of gravestones as well, which is also unusual. Why would there be graves here? Unless... someone used to live here, which might be a thing, as Priscilla says later on. Priscilla is a dunce motherfucker, though. I'll get more into that later, though. Anyways, for the time being, let's go ahead and clear these guys out, because I do have a lot more that I need to talk about here and get through. So let's try to rush through this a little bit at least. There's nothing too important here. This is more of these prisons. And was that... did I hear... what is that noise? I can only hear it on headphones. Be quiet, Hollow. I'm trying to hear something. There is, in the background, a sort of wailing that you guys probably can't hear. But it isn't quite wind. There's sort of this sort of almost Gregorian chanting noise going on very faintly in the background that I can just barely hear whenever I step out here. It seems to be a bit stronger here. It's a pretty neat ambient effect. It probably doesn't mean anything in particular. Just that it's, you know, it's just supposed to be creepy and weird. So I really appreciate that's really cool. Really like that. Anyways, let's go ahead and clear these guys out. And once we get down here, you notice that some of these things have been knocked out. I'll point out that the ones up there did not have this cage removed. But the ones down here do. So apparently, there he is, King Jeremiah. That's what his name was. It's been so long since I thought about it. Let's go ahead and clear that out. And notice that this guy looks like an idiot. That's because this is another callback to Demon Souls that probably doesn't really have any place being in this game, but they kind of just did it anyways. Has a whip. He wants to whip us. But I really don't like being whipped. And he also has pyromancy. And he is a mage, so he is a dirty little cheater. Don't really much care for you. That's enough out of you. Get out of here. And he leaves something behind. It is unusual that he was an invader. If someone is an invader in this game, usually it means that they're either associated with the dark race or there's someone that just so happened to find a remnant of the Covenant orbs, like the crushed eye orbs that we find. So what exactly he was doing here, I don't know. But this does seem to insinuate that there are also other dimensions that contain the same exact painting. Like it's not one that is isolated and on its own. So it is also part of the world that we live in. Got a piece of humanity, and a notched whip, which is utterly terrible. Let's go ahead and look at it anyways. Why not, for God's sake? I better get rid of those souls that are on my bar while I'm thinking about it. Notched whip. Whip with... I need a drink. Hold on. Man, my throat gets so dry. Talking for an hour. Whip has sharp spikes. Only slightly effective against armor and tough scales. It's not effective against anything, but quite formidable against enemies with exposed skin. Well, guess what? Everything is formidable against enemies with exposed skin. Because it's just fucking skin. Anyway, also causes heavy bleeding. Yeah, sure it does. Sure it does. Hey, I forgot. Get rid of these. Get rid of my bird watching utensil while I'm at it as well. Okay. But I just wanted to point out that a lot of these things seem to have been busted open down here, but the ones up there have not. And is this one actually hinged correctly? Nah, it's just laying over. Okay. What the hell was dragging these things? It must have been incredibly powerful. Maybe it was the giants. Maybe it was the giants that were in service to the gods, and maybe that's how these things got here. That they were physically thrown into the painting, and that this is just where they ended up. But it isn't usual that they're all sort of neatly placed, not neatly placed, but sort of placed in one area, which does indicate that they were placed with some degree of care. So maybe it was that, I don't know, maybe if the painting was laid down, they knew exactly where to place it, but we saw the painting before, and it's a definite perspective from the place that you first enter from, so I don't think that's the case. So I'm pretty sure that they had to physically enter the painting. So it's, I don't know, it's all pretty strange. But ultimately, completely unimportant. Completely unimportant. One last thing over here. Pyromancy Acid Surge. Which is another thing that's kind of just worthless, but whatever. Acid Surge, here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Pyromancy foreign to the Great Swamp. In other words, the Great Swamp never had this. Even though that's the place where all the pyromancies are at, they don't know about it. Emit acid which corrodes weapons and armor. Not all pyromancy originates in the Great Swamp. One hears rumors of unknown pyromancers inhabiting various lands, and this spells the work of one such outlander. So that's the only sort of indication that we're going to get. But there are people that are also sort of fucking around with things outside of the lands that we hear about in the context of Dark Souls. But really not much more to say about them other than that. And I can't do anything quite just yet. Let's go ahead and... I'll go ahead and grab this. We need to go down into the sewers and open things up down there. And that's going to be a shitload of fun. This is the guy that we cut down much earlier, if you remember. The one that I was commenting on how it sounds like a chain, even though it's not. And one last thing to pick up here. Ring of Sacrifice that I'm not going to be using. There's nothing to go on about it in regards to lore, in regards to that. Just that... Is that where... Is this where I entered? I can't remember. What the hell is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. We haven't got to that place yet. Well, in a second. But that's the well that we're going to have to go down over there. One last thing over here, and that's going to be it in regards to picking up shit that's all over the ground. This guy, Silver Ray Warrior, nothing important. Okay, good. I was worried that it was going to... In Dark Souls 1, it auto-equips anything that you pick up if you don't have it already. Which I guess they thought was being useful, but really it's kind of irritating. But these guys, maybe the hollows that were here, let's go ahead and get these guys to spawn, because they are dicks. Now, whether these guys were actually physically brought here, or maybe they were human beings that were sort of in charge of Ariamis. Damn it, I was going to do that. Maybe these were human beings that used to live within the painting and were sort of in charge of keeping it, and they just so happened to go hollow. Maybe that's the lore behind this. Oh, you too? This guy has a little tunic. Aren't you adorable? Asshole. Fucking archers. Can't stand ranged users. I've been playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and that fucking game is just obsessed with ranged attacks. If you use strike moves in that game, you can just go fuck yourself. I might make a video on that, but I kind of doubt it. There's been a few videos, things that I wanted to make a comment about in regards to some games. but I didn't want to make a Let's Play of them, and I don't really do one-off, so I've kind of been considering doing a new series in which I do sort of take quick looks at things, but I don't know. I really want to keep this as being an animation channel. It's going to always be an animation channel, of course. But, there's been some, like I had to do a thing for Wooly recently, and there's been a few things in regards to real life I've been having to deal with. This is where you cut down that thing if you didn't shoot it with an arrow earlier, by the way. Down here. That's the entrance. But, I've been having so many things popping off that the animation that I thought I was going to get done in February is still not quite done. It's not too far off, though, thankfully. But it's been a real irritation trying to get everything settled. Is there anything else I need to accomplish down there? I better go in the reverse way, actually. You can go in that way, but it is far more dangerous to go in that way. So I'm just going to go this way, down the well, instead. I think that's the safest way. It's been a while since I've thought about it. But I think that this is the alternative way in. Yes, this is the way in that goes into the tunnels. And let's go ahead and equip something a bit more resilient than that grass crest shield. Is there anything else I need to talk about in regards to... No, just the idea that maybe at one point there used to be people here that were caretakers of the painting, and now they're just gone. And I think that kind of speaks for itself. Maybe that's something that you can think about. Now, here we have more wheel skeletons. Unfortunately, God, they are so annoying. The wheel skeletons that we found down in the catacombs. And they are just as dangerous as they ever were. But I'm a bit more leveled up now, so they're not quite as much of a problem. But they will eat through your stamina very quickly all the same. And in true Dark Souls fashion, in true Miyazaki fashion, they hide them around corners so that they can just attack you in the butt and just cleave your butt meat right off. It's really fucking annoying. And I can't quite remember where I am in regards to this. But I want to make sure I clear out these guys before I start doing anything too amazing. Come on. I know. Yeah, there you go. Make sure I keep this. It's so dumb that it ricochets off the walls whenever I'm doing that. Anyways. I want to make sure I go up here and get this. And I think this is just going to be a pyromancy. I point out that this guy, or this lady, or whatever it is exactly, is the only one of these things in the area that is not hostile. I really love these touches. I don't think that there were quite enough of these in any of the Souls games so far, actually. I'd really like to see more of these little moments, in which this thing is not actually a threat to you. It's obviously just in pain. Like, whatever this thing used to be, whoever this used to be, is down here, just wants to be left alone. Just wants to be left alone, but I can't have that because it has something that I want. It's kind of something that always kind of irritates me in games in which there's a good and bad person thing. Is, do you do this to get the item? And the answer is yes, you have to do the thing to get the item because you won't let me have it any other way. But at the same time, if you incorporate a system in which, like in Dark Souls 2 they did this, in which you can still get the thing, but you have to do like a quest first, then it kind of ruins the whole point of it, because then you're not going to kill them because you don't need to. Unless you're just kind of speedrunning or something. So my solution is don't ever tie items to these decisions. Just have them there. Just have the moment there as a visual, in which you see the thing there just weeping into its hands or whatever you need it to do, and have that be the end of it. Don't tie an item to it whatsoever. Because if this thing had not dropped this item, look at its poor little face. It's on it. I thought this was its back for a second. Man, these things really got it bad, don't you think? If this thing had not dropped this fire surge, then I just would not have bothered at all. And I would really, as far as the role-playing aspect of this game goes, I would really just rather leave everything alone if possible. As far as this character goes, anyways. If I'm playing an evil guy, then it doesn't really matter. I fucking kill things. One time in Fallout, I played a cannibal that had the mission of killing every single... Like, I even incorporated the mod that let me kill children, because children really... They need to be eaten, if you really think about it. But I went through and tried to kill every NPC and eat them. But I eventually, after getting, like, through half of them, I was just really tired of it. Like, I had just grown exasperated with all the flesh eating, so I just had to stop. Anyways. Fire Surge, Pyromancy 4 into the Great Swamp, once again. Another 4 on Pyromancy. So I guess this is suggesting that this took place after the Bed of Chaos. Like, everything was interred within the painting world of Ariamis after Pyromancy became corrupted. And it became corrupted, and apparently there were people in some other lands that were brought here, not from the Great Swamp, or from somewhere else that we never hear about. Anyways, create a Surge of Flame from palm of hand. Excellent grammar right there. And all Pyromancy originates in the Great Swamp, and here's what it does, blah, 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 blah. And this Pyromancy is not even that great, but I'll kill people for it just the same, because, again, I am a completionist. The wheel actually kind of, not really scared me, but alerted me ever so slightly. These are illusionary walls. You can roll through them, you can attack them, whatever you want to do. Your pick. But this leads to more assholes, like this asshole. And I think if we go down there, there's going to be another asshole. We have to turn a corner for that asshole, though. A lot of assholes, a lot of directions to assholes. Let's go ahead and get you to roll. Don't just go straight at them. Because if you do, you're probably going to get your ass killed. Because of that. And because there's so many corridors and things down here, it's really easy. What if I can get him with... Yeah, I can, but I took the hit process. Anyways. But if you go straight at them, then odds are they're just going to start their rolling attack and interrupt your attack. Because they're, just like many things in this game, they're special little princesses that always get their way. Now, why the wheel skeletons are down here, I don't know. Whether they are associated explicitly with Nito, I don't know. Who fused them to these wheels, I don't know. No one knows. But I think that the reason why that they're down here may be because they were designed for this area. And they were designed for this area because originally this area, as the starting area in the testbed area for this game, originally the final boss was not Priscilla. It was Nito. It was Gravelord Nito. This used to be the area that he was associated with. And all the Velka stuff was just sort of added in as a way to sort of try to give it some sort of lore connotations. Anyways, Annex Key. We need this to open up the Annex. Annex, if you don't know, Annex is usually just a building that you add on to an existing building in order to store shit. Key to the Annex of the Painted World of Ariamis. In the wintry painted world, there is a structure resembling an old cathedral. But it's not an old cathedral. Perhaps. But it resembles one. Its Annex serves as a type of storehouse. So I guess really the more important lore point from there is that there is a cathedral-looking structure somewhere. Not that it actually is one. Let's see. Is this the path back up? Get myself oriented. Yeah, this is the path back up the well. I better heal because one roly-poly attack to the face from those guys is a big deal. And there's going to be one right back here. This is the reason why I did not want to go in from the other direction. One attack from... Yeah, one R2 from a two-handed one won't be enough for them. Okay, I might be able to kill these guys with one R2 if I time it just right. There's quite a few more of these guys in here, though, so gotta be careful. Brave Warrior. Let's clear them out before I start doing anything else. There he was! You can just barely see them! Oh, no, 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 no! I think there just might be these two left. And they're gonna come back out here. Oh, don't go around the corner. Come on, guys. You're gonna make me hunt you? You probably have already experienced one undead hunt once before. I don't need to make you experience another one. Alright, one last one. Come on. Gotta be careful. Even I have plenty of health, so this is not really a big deal, but, you know. And, of course, having a spear makes this a little bit easier, since you can just raise your shield and then attack from behind it. And I think that's it. No, there's one! Little asshole. These things are super dangerous. They might be the most dangerous enemies in this entire game, as far as basic enemies go. As for reasons that I've been over plenty. If you want to experience that, just go back a few parts, that's for sure. Okay, Solar Knight, and that's it in regards to this area. Okay, now we can finally do what we meant to come down here. This is really easy to miss. If you have no idea how to proceed through the game, it's because you haven't come down here and interacted with this one little thing that you can just barely see. Turn the handle, make the chains move. And I haven't looked at that yet. But notice that statue. Notice, finally, we have another mother-child statue, except this time, it is not a baby. The path is clear. Fly, you fools. But now we finally have opened up the path to the boss. But there's one more little optional area that we can kind of take care of before then. But I wanted to point out the statue. We have seen the mother-child motif throughout the entire game. Everywhere. It's been everywhere. But now, finally, we have one that is slightly different. In that it is a mother with still a child, but it is with a sort of almost fully grown child. And let's get my bird watchers out once again, just to get one good look at this. Here, distant scenery. But you could construe that this is supposed to be a statue of Priscilla. Possibly. Which would seem to imply that this is the mother. And you know, notice this does not look like Gwendolyn. Or, sorry, I keep doing that. God damn it. All you Gwens. This is not Guinevere. So this might be, if you're assuming that this is Priscilla, then this would seem to indicate that this is Velka that we've been looking at this entire time. Now, whether the mother-child statues that we have seen throughout the rest of the game are actually associated with the Velka or not, I don't know. But if so, the baby would have to be Priscilla if we're still reading into it this way, which would mean that those were constructed at a time at which Priscilla had been born and was being celebrated in some ways, maybe. So its statues would be everywhere, and probably, since they seem to always be outside of Anor Londo, so it seemed to be that they were being celebrated by humans. That maybe once she had grown up, then it became clear to the gods that she was actually quite dangerous to them. And that was the point at which she was imprisoned in here. So if you're trying to read into it as much as possible, maybe that's the little significance. That at some point she was born, and that was of some sort of great excitement to human beings, that maybe Velka was more associated with the human world at the time. And then the bit of chaos happened, shit started to go down, and at the same time, her life hunt powers, Priscilla's life hunt powers became clear, and the gods had the painted world of Ariamis constructed, imprisoned her, and then left Anor Londo, and that was the end of it. And maybe one of the reasons why that they left Anor Londo was also because of this danger of her getting loose as well, and all the things that are in here getting loose as well. That maybe one of the final things that they actually did before they left was to take all the things that they considered to be a danger to them and imprison them here and then just sort of leave. Because they wanted to make sure that all their affairs were sort of wrapped up before they went into the human world to do whatever it is that they are doing now. What exactly the gods are doing these days, no one really knows. Because, I mean, oh, that was actually counted as a headshot. You can hear the noise. It's pretty cool if you shoot him in the face, because the head is actually further down. That's pretty cool. Anyways. So what exactly the gods are doing, I don't know. They left Anor Londo, so apparently they considered Anor Londo to be dangerous, or maybe they didn't want to be associated with the lie anymore. Why they left, we don't know. We can only assume. But what exactly they're doing now is especially weird, because why would, even if Anor Londo has diminished in its glory, it's still operating under an illusion. The illusion that Gwendolyn has been making. So, why exactly they would shun the illusion and leave for the human world, I don't know. Because the human world is obviously going to be a lot worse off than the illusion would be. You could say it's because it become too dangerous or something, I guess. But, I don't know, it's kind of precarious logic to me. I think, again, this is more Eastern storytelling. It's just, the point of it is supposed to be that there are no gods left. And that was it. That was the whole logic of it. Like, the actual physical Western logic of why they would leave is something that wasn't really important to Miyazaki so much as the idea that heaven has been abandoned. Velka's Rapier. A symbolic, powerful thrusting sword, giggity, I guess, used by the partner serving Velka. The partner serving Velka. That's weird. Like it's referring to Oswald. Velka got us to Sim. It is no mere symbol, to be sure. The partner is an inhuman swordsman and wields this enchanted blade with special sword technique. Considering the grammar of this thing, it probably was not translated quite correctly. So maybe it's not referring to Oswald specifically so much as just partners that serve Velka, and that's the end of it. And we're going to... Actually, I haven't gotten that yet. I'm going to have to get that armor as well. I guess I'll go more to that then. Okay, anyways. We need to get down here, and we need to grab this one last little bit, go up top, and then we'll be able to go on and challenge the final boss of this area. Sort of. Poke. Pokey, poke, poke. Yeah, it got toxic. Figured. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. But I have some crow buddies to take care of while we're down here. Let's go ahead and grab this. Dark Ember, I'll explain that in a bit. But for the time being, gotta tap this ass real fast. Actually, not real fast. Whenever you gotta tap ass, kids, don't tap it real fast. Wait it out, let her have a good time. Let her have a good time. Then you tap that ass. Well, you finish tapping the ass. I'm sorry, this is like the most horrific episode I've ever done. Anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of this one last time. If it does it again, I'm just going to let it go. I really don't give a shit about cleansing this dumbass toxic. Really don't like toxic. Things like that in this game, I know that on one hand, I appreciate it, especially from like say I'm viewing things from like sort of an old D&D roguelike game sort of perspective, in which things are deadly. They're just fucking deadly. They treat it like real life. Like, this is a real world. You will get yourself fucking killed if you're not careful. That sort of mentality. That guy's kind of hard to kill without being toxic, by the way. That's the reason why I did that. And he fires so quickly, once again. So long, you fucking piece of shit. That, it's just easier than killing with a bow and just take a hit. What the fuck was I saying now? Oh, but I kind of appreciate things like that from an old role-playing perspective, but at the same time, goddamn, it's annoying in a video game. Alright, so let's go down here real fast and grab Oswald's clothes, the massive Velka, and the black cleric robe, and so on. Okay, let's take a look at this. This used to be, whenever I first started playing, this is some of my favorite equipment, just because I liked showing off my face, but I also liked wearing a helmet. And there's really not many things in the game that allow you to do this. Mask worn by partners serving Velka, the goddess of sin. The partners listen to the confessions of sinners, urging reflection and salvation. Their masks symbolize separation from worldly desires. So Velka, once again, and more Velka shit. This place is just rife with Velka stuff. So this whole area is, again, associated with Velka, the goddess of sin. Why exactly she is the goddess of sin, who knows? Maybe she chose to be, or maybe she is simply said to be the goddess of sin because of some thing that she did in the past. We don't really know, but it is interesting that there is that association. And I think the girls might not come... Oh, there they are. There's one of them. I didn't know if they were actually going to show back up since I had killed the ones above. God damn. Ugh, come on. No, no, no. Gotta get out of here. Gotta heal. For some reason, these girls are always kind of a problem. Because it's really tight, confined space, and it's very easy to... You know what? I don't even mind. Enjoy yourselves. It's kind of difficult just because there's this big hole right here. And this, I think, is just a soul. It's nothing too important. Oh, no, that's right. It's the Veil of Silence. That's right. They jumped off the edge, by the way, if you're wondering. I guess after that experience with me, they just couldn't take living without me anymore. Who knows? Anyways, Miracle... Veil of Silence, sorry. Down here. Alright. Secret Rite of the Black-Haired Witch Velka. Black-Haired Witch Velka. So we do get sort of a loose description of what she looks like. Prevents casting of magic within effect area. And that is interesting, that it actually prevents the casting of magic specifically. I don't know about miracles. I think that it also applies to miracles, which would make it more dangerous to the gods. But it is interesting that it is, in particular, it opposes magics, which would, again, seem to be sort of anti-Seath stuff, or maybe anti-Bed of Chaos, and so on. Velka, the goddess of sin, is a rogue deity, but she is versed in arts both new and old, and is considered to have a great range of influence, even as gods are concerned. And again, they're considered to be gods because of their relationship with humans, so Velka, the goddess of sin, does seem to be quite popular amongst humans. That's what I'm sort of reading into in regards to this. Which does support my theory of the humans being the ones responsible for building all of the statues of her and her child. If, again, we are reading heavily into this. And that's it in regards to all the item pickups that we're going to be getting. And now we can finally go and end the episode. And I don't even care about the length of this episode. Matt suggested, why don't you just make them 30 minutes? No, Matt. Why you... Matt, actually, I think Matt sort of... He might listen to these or watch them or something. Or he's watched, like, a little bit of some of them, I know. But if you're listening to this, Matt... No, you filthy savage. Why would I ever do something like that? I'm going to make this one an hour. This is going to be the longest one ever. Just because. Oh, there's one of them. One of them actually didn't die. It jumped off down here. But it did take quite a bit of damage in the process. So long, baby. Last one we're ever going to see. And that is a shame, don't you think? Okay. Let's carry you with me for a while. Come on. Aww. Oh, well. Not much left in regards to this. This is the, sort of the under area that leads up there, which was blocked by the undead dragon. I don't know what actually is up there. Like, if the logic of this area that was broken off and the dragon's blocking it up there. Why the dragon is up here, I also don't know. Like, maybe that dragon was also one of the mortal descendants of the dragons. Which, again, makes no sense as another thing. We've been over this before, how the gray land thing, the opening cinematic story, doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, that's a whole other thing, because if the fire was lit and suddenly everything became mortal, that doesn't really make a lot of sense in its own way. But some people say that, and say that as a result, the dragons then all became mortal under the scales, rather than just being normal entities. But we know that's not true, because Seath was also mortal, even before that, so it's just a big clusterfuck of things. But anyways, if you want to make the most clear-cut sense of it, that is just one of the descendants of the dragons up there. But the fact that it's undead especially makes no sense, because only human beings can become undead. Because, here's what the undead curse is. I'll just go ahead and tell you this. My interpretation of what the undead curse is that as the light soul, the Age of Fire, fades from the world, as it loses its influence, the dark soul grows in power. And what does that mean exactly? It means that the things of the nature of the abyss and so on are growing in power. And what exactly are human beings, or what exactly are anything, any sort of humanoid, that does not have a link to his soul? He's a pygmy. So whenever the dark soul exerts its influence on the world, and these guys do come up behind you once you go attack that guy, since they're dicks. But once don't start just yet. Damn it. But once the dark soul exerts its influence, that to me means that the naturally immortal state that pygmies were in before everyone got a hold of souls is reasserting itself. And that's the reason why people are becoming quote-unquote undead. Because they're reverting to the same exact state that they were in whenever they were pygmies. And pygmies naturally don't live or die. They just exist. Like all things that in the Abyss and so on did early on in history. And that is what my interpretation of what the undead curse is supposed to be. And this guy, if you look, this is a Knight Baraniki. I wanted to make sure I pointed this out. He somehow has made his way in here. And remember that Tarkus was down here, and he's also associated with the Knights of Baraniki. So, maybe it is that they had some sort of mission. They thought that maybe there was some sort of cure for the undead curse down here. And that's the reason why they were venturing their way into the painted world of Ariamis. Although it is quite unusual that they were able to get inside, considering that they did not have the peculiar doll that we picked up that was located in our cell at the beginning of the game, if you remember all that. And he's doing this because he is actually... He's lassoed, or whatever you want to call it, to his initial starting area. But once he goes out that far, he gets confused and he doesn't really know how to... and he doesn't really know what to do with it. So he ends up backtracking his way this way, because that's the shortest route that the scripting can figure out for itself. Looks on HR, he just has generic drops, and I think he does respawn. The alternative to all that is that maybe at some point in history, he was brought here, although that also doesn't make a lot of sense, because why exactly would the gods choose to imprison one of the members of the Nasberanagi? So, my interpretation is that they did think that there was something here, and at some point they had fought their way here, or that guy specifically had fought his way here, and he just ended up going hollow before he could actually deal with Priscilla. Or maybe he was attempting to have some sort of interaction with her and it never quite worked out or something. Or maybe the developers just wanted a big, strong enemy to be there, and they didn't really give a shit one way or another whether it made any sense or not. Which is probably the actual explanation. Because again, this is a starting, for God's sakes. This is the testing bed area for everything, so it would make sense that things here don't make a lot of sense. I've been talking so long that I've kind of gone off the deep end. I just wanted to point out, this is kind of a weird structure. It does go up into this one room, and that's it. And I guess originally this was the Nido boss room area, but now it's for Priscilla exclusively. But just like in Orlando, it leads into a dark, abyssy area. But since this is a painting, then it doesn't make any sense that that would be the abyss. So maybe it is that I guess the logic of this particular area is that this is supposed to fade off into nothing, and you're really not supposed to be able to see it this well, but they couldn't quite get it just right. But that is supposed to fade off into nothingness. Anyways, you can sort of hear wolves in the background sometimes, I think. I guess I just kind of plugged generic nature sounds in over this thing. God damn it. No IRC, I don't give a shit about the fact that the internet is disconnecting. The internet is always disconnecting. It's fucking Kentucky. What do you expect? Anyways, there is one thing that I need to do. In regards, should I do it now? No, let's go ahead and save it. Let's go ahead and meet ourselves a nice big saucy dragon girl. This is a boss, although it is not necessarily a boss. For God's sake, RIC. Not fucking now. I'm gonna just shut you off if you do that one more time. Even though I'm probably have to make a cut if I do that. Anyways, this is Priscilla. Hello, Priscilla. And you will notice, as we could take a good look at her. Yes, I have my bird washers on. Yes. Hello, Priscilla. Originally, at the very beginning of development, she was just sort of a maiden in black, the Emerald Herald, that sort of thing, and no, I'm not going to name that one. I can't remember if that's in DA or not. But there's another one in Bloodborne. I'll just say that. But she originally was going to be another one like this. And, she was supposed to sort of go along with you on your adventures, or at least show up in different places and whatnot. I don't know if you used her to level up specifically, but she was supposed to be sort of the, secondary character, the primary character of the game. But they ended up dropping that entirely, and now they instead just plugged her in here as a generic boss enemy. Little feetsies, hello little feetsies. She painted her toenails pink. Isn't that cute? Where'd you get that pink? Was it blood? Are you painting your toenails with... Are your fingernails... I think her fingernails are also pink. They are! Oh, that's so cute. Anyways, I bet she fucking loves it. That's probably all she does in here. Just stands around all day with her scythe out, just waiting for people to come in, even though they never do. And then she gets tired and paints her toenails and things, and maybe, like, hangs out with the... There's a lot of cute little comics that were drawn by some Japanese guy or Korean guy or something. I don't know. They're all the fucking same, aren't they? I'm not actually... That was intentional racism, by the way. Don't worry. But there are a lot of cute ones that are drawn by that guy that you can find online. I don't know where they are exactly. Just search for them. But they're of her interacting with little bitty... the Raven Girls. And there's also some by the same guy of all the Four Knights of Gwyn interacting with one another as well. Anyways, this is Priscilla. She is, as you notice from her face, partly dragon. Because there seems to have been some sort of experiments going on, in regards to trying to fuse a normal humanoid person, maybe with some of the women that Seath was capturing, with dragon DNA, I guess. But the essence of being a dragon. And that seems to have resulted in Priscilla here. And that, I think it's not really contested at all that she is the result of Seath's experiments. Some people say that she is a biological child, like Seath. The reason why people say Guinevere is her mother sometimes is just because she's so big. And people say, how could Seath possibly have sex with a girl unless she was huge? And that's the logic of it. And that's it. That is so fucking lazy. If you can't tell, I don't really have a high opinion of the idea that Guinevere is her mother just because she's big. And Seath is big and he has a big wiener. Maybe he just has a really tiny wiener. Have you ever thought of that? No, you didn't. It's weird that she does seem to have sort of clothing. Like she has clothing, but it's also like this sort of fur or something. I know, it's weird. I guess it's just supposed to be layers. I think this is just naturally... Maybe she is wearing it, I don't know. But it looks like it's part of her body. Whether she's growing it or not, I have no idea. But dragons aren't really known for being fuzzy in real life. Unless you're talking about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs with feathers are sexy little things, aren't they? No, Matt. No. No. Feathered dinosaurs are best because they know they're sexy bitches. Hell yeah. Anyways, Priscilla has this big live hunt scythe that we can't get just yet. I'll go ahead and tell you that you can cut off her tail. And that will enable you to get Priscilla's dagger, which I'll probably show you in a bit. I'll probably just cheat that one in so I can talk about it, because I don't actually want to harm Priscilla. I'm not going to fight her today.
Who art thou? One of us thou art not. If thou hast misstepped into this world, plunge down from the plank and hurry home. If thou seekest I, thine desires shall be requited not.
Aw, too bad. If you want me, too fucking bad, because I don't want you. It is sort of unusual what she's sort of implying here. It's almost, you kind of get the connotation that maybe she has had this interaction before, that people have come to her seeking her out, but she always sends them away. And it is kind of weird that the exit to this area is off the plank. This plunging off to your inevitable demise. Even though if you fall off any other area, you will die, but if you fall off the plank, you'll be just fine.
Thou must returneth whence thou came. This land is peaceful. Its inhabitants
Bullshit!
kind, but thou dost not belong. I beg of thee, plunge down from the plank and hurry home.
Inhabitants kind my ass. You know how many wheel skeleton fragments I got stuck in my ass now? And I think that's all I guess. Once I came.
This land
Peaceful, its inhabitants kind.
Its inhabitants
So maybe at some
kind,
point in history
but
this
thou
was
dost
true.
not belong. I beg of thee.
Comes down from the plank and hurry home. Okay, that's enough out of you. So maybe at some point that was true. Maybe it was that Velka had created a home for human beings here, and they were maintaining it for quite some time until the undead curse got a hold of them. And at that point in history, they were kind, peaceful people. And at some point, everything became corrupted, and now it is what it is. Which may explain why exactly the Velka girls have become so hostile, that maybe they are the only things left that can actually protect Priscilla, in case your motivations for coming here are not pure, so they're just attacking people on sight just to be safe about it. Who knows? Why exactly this is all the case, I don't know, but that's the best sense that I can make out of it. And that's it we're going to have from her. How can you misstep into the painting, exactly? Explain this to me, Priscilla. I don't think you know. This weird Colosseum-looking area. Again, this used to be the area in which you fought Nido originally. Which would have been kind of neat, I guess. But it's neater to have a giant, fluffy dragon girl here, I guess. She is adorable, isn't she? Okay, we'll leave your tail be for the time being. And we won't plunge off the quote-unquote plank. There's no fucking plank here. We won't plunge off the plank just quite yet because we need something that's right here. But it isn't here just yet because we actually need to rezone to get it to work. So we'll just go ahead and quit out. Just do an awful lot. I'm doing that because the only way to get Xenoverse to actually work correctly is to play in offline mode. And the only reason I wanted to get Xenoverse to work in off is because their servers are absolutely horrendous. And you can't quit out and end up right before the fog. Their servers are absolutely horrendous, so the only way I can actually play the game is in offline mode. So that's the reason why I'm starting in offline. Anyways. But you quit out, and then we get ourselves a nice little... You can see his feet up here dangling over the side adorably. And this is the corpse of Jeremiah. King Jeremiah, who drops the Xanthos. Shit. This does not match anything else in the entire game. This is just a Demon Souls reference because there was a boss in the game. Which, oh, fine, I'll show you. I'll show you the stupid thing. Xanthos crown. A mysterious item once worn by the Xanthos King Jeremiah. The legendary exile. No one knows where it came from. The crown bears high-quality cloth, which is quite soft to the touch, but its bright yellow color stings the eyes and is clearly far too big. And I like the fact that they don't even give any explanation of this whatsoever. To me, this is... Even though this is not Dark Souls 2, to me, this is what ruined Dark Souls 2. For me. It's just all the stupid, silly shit. And I know a lot of you love playing these games just for the sake of it being dumb and silly. But if you start using too much of it, then it ruins the game. It ruins the game pretty damn easily. Where's my giant helm? And I don't think that the other things say anything else about it. No one knows where it came from. Oh, it may be tattered, but it's bright yellow color still sings there. Okay. Nothing important. But he was the exiled king, whatever. But in Demon Souls, the logic of that particular item is that it was actually a demon. The big, stupid cloth head thing was actually a demon. And it had basically... I haven't played the game, so I'm not really... I don't have an in-depth lore thing for it, but... The whole idea was that it inhabits the body of a human being, and it ends up taking them over, and the size of the thing is just because the sort of infection, or whatever you want to call it, the demon presence has grown so big that the headpiece is physically grown large as well. The funny thing is, the one in Dark Souls is actually way bigger than the one in Demon Souls, and even in Dark Souls 2 it's a little bit smaller. But that's just another Demon Souls reference that has no place actually being in the world. Don't really think too much of it, because it's just fucking stupid, and it's a reference there just to be a reference. Don't really care too much for it. But anyways, it is what it is. And I kind of do appreciate there at least being a couple of silly items in the game, I guess. But now we are finally done with the painted world of Ariamis, so now we can take our leave of this horrid, horrid area. And I wanted to get this area out of the way as far as playthroughs go, because I want to max out the Darkmoon Covenant thing, and the only way to do that is to farm those lovely Velka girls. To farm the bird girls, so I'll be doing that off camera in the meantime. So, we're done here for the time being. Should I or shouldn't I? Oh, fuck it. I'm undead anyways, what's it matter? Just go ahead and kill yourself. Did you guys hear that? Dun, dun! One of those old-fashioned movie reaction things. Anyways, they give you a homeward bone. Even though from a lore standpoint, this makes no sense at all that they would give you a homeward bone. I guess they do it so that you can actually... I don't know. Maybe so that you can leave the area without having to worry too much about it. Or you can get... I don't know. Because the last bonfire that you rested at was probably going to be the one in Ariamis, so that's just going to take you back inside. I guess the original... Maybe there used to not be a bonfire in there, and that's just a relic from it. I have no idea. But anyways, I'm not going to move because I don't want to attract any attention just yet. But I wanted to point out one last thing. If you want to get Priscilla's dagger, but you don't want to kill her, one thing that you can do is go in, cut off her tail, and then use a I think that's how it works. Use a homeward bone without having ever rested at a bonfire inside of there, and that will homeward bone you back to whatever it is that you last rested at outside of the painted world. So that's one way that you can escape from the painted world without actually having to use the plank or kill her. So you can get it that way, cut off her tail, and then you go back up to Oswald and cleanse yourself of sin, and that's the way that you circumvent all that without having to worry too much about getting the thing that way. The only difference is that you won't be able to get her soul. You won't be able to get Priscilla's soul, which I think leads to the Life Hunt Scythe or something. I can't remember. It's been a while. Pretty sure that's what it leads to. So you wouldn't be able to get that item. But I'll go ahead and actually real quick, let's go ahead and get those two items and cheat those in. So I'll talk about those. I'll see you guys in a second. I am back, and a couple things to note before I proceed. One thing I lost in my notes, the banishment sorcerers that... Hold on. Like, the guy that we fought in Anor Londo that we thought was one of the banishment sorcerers, he used one of the cleanse spells, and I wanted to point out, people did mention this in the comments, and it's something that I was thinking about, but I don't think I really specified it. You know, I didn't really nail it down, is that it's the same spell that we see whenever we pick it up off of the ground next to the corpse. Was it on the corpse? I think it actually was physically on the corpse. I can't remember if it was... No, it was in a chest. It was in a chest that was next to the corpse. That's what it was. But it's the same cleanse spell that we picked off out of that area. So there does seem to be association there with that as well. Okay. And another thing I wanted to correct from this very episode is the painting is not DLC. I keep having it in my head for some reason, but it's not DLC. I stopped recording as soon as I hit the little stop button. I thought, did I call that DLC earlier when I was recording? But since I have so many things going on my head at the same time, I probably didn't even think about it. Anyways, I cheated 3 different things that we get from her. The Solar Priscilla, which you will use to transform into the Life Hunt Scythe. I had the Life Hunt Scythe as well, then I have the Dagger Priscilla. Those are 3 things that you can get from her. I'm going to show off all of them. I won't be using them, but, you know, I just wanted to make sure I had them. Okay. By the way, if you're wondering how to cheat in items, I'm not going to tell you. Solar Priscilla. Solar Priscilla the crossbreed. So it just straight out tells you she is a crossbreed. Trapped inside the painted world of Ariamis. Special beings have special souls. Use the soul of this crossbreed. Use the soul of this crossbreed bastard child. An antithesis to all life. Which, the antithesis to all life seems to be the death soul, which would be associated with Nido. Which is kind of weird, but whatever. To acquire a huge amount of souls, or to create a unique weapon. Okay, there's that. And let's see. Oh, goddamn, all these things. And the other one is, where are those down here? Can't remember where their placement is. So damn many of these things. I don't like keeping my inventory clean. Okay, there it is. God. Life Hunt Scythe. Scythe born from the Solar Priscilla, the stark white crossbreed trapped inside the painted world of Ariamis, once again. Even the gods feared Priscilla's Life Hunt ability, so this actually does tell you she has a Life Hunt ability. That's the reason why she was in there. And in the hands of a mortal, its power will turn upon its wielder. So it seems to be implied anyways, that she is immortal. Maybe not, you know, invincible, but she won't naturally die. She's not undead. She will live forever, so long as someone does not murder her. Which, if you have her soul, that's what happened. So, whenever you have it, since you're just an ordinary-ass human, if you have it, whenever you swing this thing around, it will actually cause... let's go ahead and show this stupid thing. It will actually cause damage to you if you land a hit. It will actually cause a bleed buildup on you, I believe it is. Okay, and one last thing. Her dagger's I really hope it's up here. I really hate how they organize these things. Priscilla's dagger. This sword, which is not a sword, but whatever, one of the rare dragon weapons, came from the tail of Priscilla, the dragon crossbreed, and that specifies that she is a crossbreed of a dragon. It never actually specifies whether she's a crossbreed of a dragon and a human, or a dragon and a god. But she is a crossbreed of a dragon. In the painted world of Ariamis, possessing the power of Life Hunt, it dances about when wielded, in a fashion reminiscent of the white-robed painting guardians. Who are dumbasses, but it dances around. Woo! This makes you a very effective fighter when you turn around in circles and do little flourishes like you're a little special flower. Oh my god, he's so invincible. Oh, so beautiful. But that's that. That's that in regards to all that shit. What did this used to be? By the way, if you really want to know how you cheat things in, basically you just have to go into Cheat Engine and find hex IDs and then change them and whatnot. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be pleased as punch that I did not actually harm Priscilla, because she is all of your waifus. You love that fluffy tail. But I love power!